Hello, friends. Once again, this episode is brought to you by Koi CBD. Go to koicbd.com, use code DuddyB at checkout, save 20%. Here we go.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the show. Feeling good with Duddy. That's me. Let's go.
Oh, we're back. Episode 47, Feeling Good with Duddy. We're feeling super good today because we have two guests, Evan Hawkins of Through the Roots and his girlfriend Britt Rafusion, model, beautiful, and we also have a very beautiful soul, Duddy B.
That's right. What's up, people? We are back. Episode 47, I believe episode 4 from our underground bunker lair where we are hiding from the Coronal times that are, 100 feet above us?
Yes, we're 100 feet below the earth. Every once in a while we still hear human things happening above, but for the most part it's pretty silent down here. And I don't even know what day it is of the Coronal times. And if it sounds a little muffled right now, we're all wearing masks.
That is right. We are down here in the underground bunker lair. Every now and then we also give the directions to some really cool people, and then they get to come down here. They climb down the 100-foot ladder to get down in the bunker. Then they, like we told you guys last week, they swim through the pool of Purell. And then when they get out of that, they get blow drying. And then they have to put a thermometer in their mouth, and if it's not 98.8, then they got to climb back up the ladder and they got to leave.
Yes.
Luckily, they were both 98.8, perfect.
Perfectly. And they went through the Total Recall Airport body scan where we see your skeletal structure and any imperfections. They were perfect. In fact, a perfect 100% score. We have with us now Evan of Through the Roots and his girlfriend Britt. Welcome to the show. We will get to your guys' questions later because we could not find the questions for Duddy and I. And I think it's time, Duddy, potentially for us to take the masks off and get into the show.
Yeah.
Welcome
Okay.
to the show, y'all. We're real professional.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Right on. Thank you guys for coming down. I know it's weird out there in these coronal times, and supposed to be social distancing, and we are doing that the best we can. We're trying to stay safe down here, but it is good to see other human life.
Definitely is.
Thanks for having us to the lair.
How is it getting down here? It's hard when you get in the drill.
It's a little unstable.
Yeah.
Purell, after you're through that, you're pretty wet.
Yeah.
So
We should
luckily you
probably
guys got the blow dryer.
get some safety cords for the ladder. They're way up there, and if they fall, they're just dead.
Well, the thing was, we had an option. It was get some new stuff for the set or get safety equipment for people's lives, and we chose the set because we're here. No, I'm just kidding. We're here for the people, and this is your show. So anyway, let's fucking get into it. So what have you guys been doing? Have you been staying home? Have you been social distancing? You're not on tour. You're probably not modeling right now. I don't know, maybe, but what have you guys been doing?
It's not considered an essential service, and also none of the people are getting their samples from China. So modeling is put on a hold. I have gone to one job, but the makeup artist showed up in full hazmat,
Oh, wow.
mask with double filter.
Looking like she's gonna rob a bank or something. Oh my God. What about you?
Yeah, we've had obviously a lot of shows canceled, and we didn't have too much scheduled right now because we're working on some new music and taking a break to get that done. So it's kind of good timing for us. But yeah, it's been weird. We've been working on the new music. Other than that, I do construction normally full time when I'm home, and I've been able to do that because construction is an essential business. So I've been busy framing houses, and yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
But it's been weird, working on the job site, and you're wondering if you should grab this nail gun or not, or
it's kind of creepy,
shit.
right? You kind of think
sharing
about
tools and,
you think about everything you do now. You never thought about that.
No.
You never gave a shit. Dude, the thought of passing a joint around a circle is what?
Yeah.
No.
Not in Coronal times.
Is that
Not in
ever going to
Coronal
happen
times.
again? I do think, I know that we're going to get through this, as a people on Earth, but I do think that we're going to be slightly changed by this forever.
For sure.
Are you going to just reach willy-nilly for joints? I don't do that anymore anyway because I'm kind of gross. But I have 1,000 times in my life. I've tugged right off a wet-ass joint and
Totally.
fucking 10 people's
Yeah.
faces
That
on
the
it.
guy that's handing you the joint's kind of fucking gross, and you know it, and you're like, oh, well, whatever.
You saw that like saliva trail
saw
separate
it.
from his
You
lip
tried
to
to
the
pretend
joint
like
when
you
you
didn't
parted
slide
with
it all
it.
the way down, like to the very end, where it's like you're smoking your fingers instead. You know?
That's usually what I
gotta
do,
do
and I
that,
assume
yeah.
everyone does. It's just you're going through your own fingers,
Yeah.
really.
Hoping you're not
Oh
sucking too
my
hard.
God.
Oh my goodness.
The thing that happened on this last tour, and we've made fun of it on the show before, is I actually went out on tour with the Dirty Heads this last summer because we were doing podcasts, and I worked for his like merch company. So I was out meeting everybody at the shows, and it was awesome. But so many people would, hey man, you need a toke, and they'd just hand me their vape pen, and every time I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know you. I'm
Yeah,
just at
it's
a merch
strange.
booth, and I know it's just someone being nice.
Totally.
But fuck no, and especially after Coronal times.
Well, the you know, we've talked about it before, but the vape pen one is extra weird because a joint, it's like you roll it, you smoke it, it's gone. That vape pen, like if they've had that for like a month and it's just been in their pocket everywhere they go in, and you know, and it's just like that's
Their dog licked it.
yeah,
They're just-
and it's like you said,
They eat
they're not
Doritos
thinking that.
and
They're just trying to
just
be nice.
puff
Like,
directly
hey, you want to hit
off of
this?
it.
And you're like,
oh, just
that's kind of
Dorito
gross,
pieces.
dude.
That is horrifyingly gross. So thank you and no thank you for future anybody's that offer us some sort of remote joint smoking tool. We're not interested. And we love you. Thank you. Holy shit.
But what's up for Through the Roots? Like, what are you guys, you know, planning right now? You guys trying to get like live streams going?
Yeah, we
or-
got. I mean, you know, we're stoked to be here doing this, and
Yeah.
we actually are doing a Root Fire interview on Friday.
Oh, perfect.
I think we're gonna do some other ones as well that are in the works. But yeah, we're excited to do that. At least be able to interact with our fans still and play music. Other than that, just been working on the new music and working with some different new producers that we're stoked with, and loving how everything's sounding. So just using this time to like really, you know, kind of get ahead of the game, I guess. You know.
Totally. You know, you can
Exactly
either
what you
sit,
should
you
be.
can either sit around and just be like, this sucks, or you can be like, well, get back to work. You know,
Yeah.
just in a different way.
Watching a lot of tutorials and stuff too. I mean, there's so much new equipment and technology out there. Like, learning that stuff is crucial just to be able to understand it and utilize it with what we're doing.
You're going to come out of this better. And there's a lot of people who are doing that. I have
Yeah.
noticed online, which is cool. There is a large movement of people that are like, all right, I'm working out in my house. I'm going to lose 20 pounds during this Coronal time, or I'm working on my music. And
Yep.
it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people just sitting around moping. So that's kind of cool.
I mean, I've even seen it in my neighborhood, like people just out doing projects like that you can tell they've been putting off forever.
Yep.
Like there's this
Painting a
house, there's
house.
this house around the corner from me that's like so overgrown with shit that you're just like, what is going on in there? Dude's been out there every day just hacking away, and I'm like,
Wow.
thank you, Coronal Times.
I think I
like,
know
would
that
have never
house.
done that. Like,
But Jumanji was gonna live forever.
dude, I was just like, what is going on in there?
kind of miss it, huh? A little Jumanji house.
Yeah, and what's crazy too is I saw the guy that was trimming it, and he always lived there. He looks like a total normal fucking guy. I'm like, how did you let that shit happen?
Dude, why is it? You know, because Duddy and I just came from like a middle class, suburban kind of neighborhood. We're at the beach, but we were like a little inland. So it's just, track homes after track homes. And most of the houses, look fine and decent, but there's always at least one fucking creep show house where, you're just riding up the street and it's like, hi, it's a house. You're a normal house. And then there's a fucking house that no one has mowed the lawn or trimmed a hedge or done anything. And I always wonder who lives in those houses, and I never see them come out.
Dude,
What is up with those houses? I
Okay,
love
bro.
them, but why?
there's this house in my old neighborhood. You know what? Hook me up a little creepy music.
Are we just gonna go on an impromptu scary zone?
It's just this. Yeah, hook it up. Give me a little fuck. So in my old neighborhood that I lived in right before this one, there was this fucking house that, just like Jake was saying, everything was super overgrown. It just looked like a big bush. Trees, couple trees in the front yard, but mostly just big, huge bushes that were as tall as the house. You couldn't even barely see the house. But if you were like walking on the sidewalk, there was this one little kind of gap in the bushes where you could kind of see like the kitchen window. And there was always a red light on. Always. And I walk my dog like all the time. And sometimes I walk my dog at night. So I remember one fucking night I'm walking by that damn house, and I always try to look through. You've got to peek. I'm always peeking in there because I'm like, what is going on? So I give it a peek, red light on, old lady standing in the window.
like just looking out.
Just looking out.
Wow.
That's it. That's the whole story. But I'll tell you what, I was creeped out as fuck the rest of that walk, looking behind me
She's
like,
just staring.
just staring out the window.
My
Just an
heart
old
rate's
lady.
elevated.
Yeah.
That was a good story. Dude,
Thanks,
Duddy,
man. Thanks.
impromptu scary zone.
Thanks.
Nicely
Dude, I
done.
didn't even get to give my drop, but that's cool.
Oh, do you want to do that?
I think it's too late.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's all right. Next time.
Damn it, dude. Just slipping on fucking banana peels in here today, but it's
Dude,
all
it's
right,
been a
dude.
roughie.
'Cause there were some magical moments right in there. All right, dude. Back to the fucking business. That was dope, Duddy. So now I wondered, you're working on new music. Are you going like into the studio? Are you guys doing it from home, sharing? How are you doing it?
So I have a home studio, and basically we're just doing back and forth stuff and
Sending
just
it.
emails. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's funny because I was asking our keyboard player Brady if he wanted to come over on Friday to do this Root Fire interview, and he's like, I'm sticking to this quarantine thing, like I'm staying home. So, to each their own.
And you
You know
can't
what?
say,
Yeah.
No, you
Duddy
can't.
and I are
Good on
because
him.
it's a thing. Obviously, we're like, what do we do? Because we have to put out episodes every Wednesday right now. I mean, we can't just, we want to keep the show going. And we have the studio, and it's the same thing. Duddy and I think about it. It's like, we're inviting people down into the bunker, but it's very few people. There's 4 of us in a humongous warehouse,
It's not a warehouse, Jake. It's a bunker.
Yeah, well, the warehouse is underground, sure, but
Yeah.
you're right. I guess technically that's a bunker. It's an underground warehouse, and we invited you guys down, and the ladder was shitty, and we apologize, but you made it, and you swam through the Purell, and we're here. But yeah, that's why we have the mask. That's why we have the gloves. But the show must go on, and we're like,
Yeah.
if people want to come in, as long as they're clean, and you guys, we're like, these look like good, clean people. They can come on in.
But so I'm just gonna one fan question, that I just saw multiple people ask. So we can even start with here. But just like, what was your background of like getting into music? Like, how did you start playing music?
So actually, my funny, my parents were always listening to music when I was young. I think some families, their parents are into music, and I was always just listening. My dad was a musician and always had a guitar around. It's one of those things where like he would try to teach me, but it wasn't one of those things. I don't know if it's just like a son and father thing, but like we just couldn't get it. He's like, just put your fingers like this. I'm like, Dad, I'm 5, my fingers.
I can't even hold this guitar. Right?
So I just kind of had to learn at my own pace, which meant like whenever he left the house, he'd always say like, "Don't touch my guitar," which was like, I was always like, okay. So then I would see it in the corner and go play it whenever he'd leave, and I just learned that way and kind of taught myself guitar. As I got older, I was always into just kind of rolling with the trends and like what was kind of popular. We were in like the MTV era back then,
Yep.
and Total Request Live, and
Oh, totally.
yeah, just I fell in love with that whole thing. I would like stay home from school and watch that stuff, and I just got really into it. I got like a DJ set when I was I think I was in elementary school, and like the end of, sixth grade, and got really into that and like started learning the technology of like how everything like kind of plugs in, and that's kind of like the roots of it all.
Nice.
Duddy had a little DJ set too
I
when he was a
did.
youngster. You
I
guys were
did.
following a little bit of the same
No,
path.
totally. And what was funny was when you were saying like your dad saying like, "Don't touch my guitar." That reminds me of like, because my brother was in bands, and I was a younger kid, and like we had like one guitar that was kind of crappy, like I would always break the string. And back then I remember like that was a thing. You broke the string. I was like, fuck. And like I remember like going to music stores to buy like that one string. You remember that? Not even a full pack.
could
Like, I
buy
need
singles.
a G string. But like
Yeah.
his friends would always leave their guitars over, and sometimes they'd be like, don't play the guitars. They'd like put them in their cases back in the corner and hide them. And like right when those fuckers left, dude, I was like, slap, bling, 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 and I would break strings,
That's
and then I
why.
would put the fucking guitar back right where it
Just-
was,
just
just like
so.
it was. And I would be there too when they would come back over, and they'd open it like, who fucking broke my string? And I'd be like, "Dude, fucking didn't move, man.
Oh,
that
shit.
guitar did not move."
I didn't play guitar back then, so I'm not mad. I was on.
Oh, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Did you guys ever have friends who had like instruments and you go over their houses and play them? I mean, like over at their houses?
Oh shit. I had a friend I played his older brother's instrument, and his older brother came home and fucking threw me out and cussed me out. Do you remember
I
this?
remember that.
I had
Henry.
Our buddy Henry Jimenez. I was a young kid. That's so funny you said that. And I'm like, you jogged a little memory out of my mind. I went over to my buddy Henry lived up the street, and his brother had a drum set in the garage. And Henry's like, dude, check it out. And we're hitting the drums, ding, dong, dong. I'm like 9, something young. And then his brother comes home, kicks open the garage, and we're just sitting on his drum set, hitting all the drums, and he just runs in at us, and he's yelling at his brother. he's yelling at little Henry, and I'm just standing there all scared. And then I'm all, oh, I'm sorry, you know, like Henry said it was okay or something. And the older brother looks at me. He's like, why don't you go home and fucking play drums on your mama? And like fucking said some gross sexual.
Oh, I remember exactly what he said.
I know. It's like, I don't even want to say it. It was fucking nasty.
You got to say it, dude.
He's all, why don't you, what did he say? He's all, why don't you go home and play drums on your mom's pussy?
That's exactly what he said. That's what he said.
And I ran home. I'm all, and I told my mom, I'm all, fucking Henry's brother came home, and my mom stomped her. We have Jewish mom.
Dude, my mom
you know,
ain't fucking
if you do
around.
something to their son, it's like, what? My mom stomps out of the house like nothing and rolls up on Henry Jimenez's brother, who's like a fucking cholo dude, you know? He's cool, but his name was Hector. But he blew up on me that day, and my mom just cussed this fool out right in his garage, and I'm just standing there going, oh, shit. It was a heavy moment.
Damn.
I can't believe you remember all that.
I totally remember that.
You would remember that.
I was like fucking 4 or something.
Well,
I
was
know.
like 9.
No,
or
so
8.
I was like, I was probably like 6 or 7. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
7. Yeah, it's one of those two. Anyway, we were young, but I remember that. Did you do that?
Yeah, one of my
Did
best friends. I don't. Did you?
I
Did you ever
know,
play
did you play
instruments?
on your
Go
phone?
over to your friend's house and
Fuck their shit up.
Absolutely not.
Too much respect for that.
in elementary school. My. Do you guys remember that movie, That Thing You Do?
Oh, fuck yeah.
My friend's dad like
Tom Hanks?
helped produce or played guitar in that song.
That's
Like,
a great
Nice.
song.
Yeah, it was a great song, and he had all these instruments and like legendary guitars, and they were super expensive. And he had like his collection under the staircase, and
a
he had like
gold mine.
a room upstairs that had a drum kit, and like. You know, I never really had that many instruments around, just my dad's guitar, you know. So I went over there and it was like the holy grail, you know. So I'd go over there and Alex would be like, "Hey, dude, you want to hang out?" I'm like, "No, I'm in this room, man." You know, like he's like, "You're at my house." I'm like, "Yeah, but like, this is where I am right now."
Go play them. I'm in here shredding.
It was fun, but that's kind of where I learned how to like play all the instruments. It was a really young age too, so
That's cool.
props to Alex and his
Hell
dad.
yeah.
Oh, what a room
Thank you.
to have. I
The music
now
room.
we know people that have a shitload of instruments, but back then as a kid, you just walk in a room, like, there's keyboards,
There's
and
just
guitars.
everything.
Yeah.
Even though you don't know how to play, it's just like making sounds is like, fuck, it's amazing when you hear
I
it.
remember like the first time like fucking around with a keyboard that just had all the sounds and just going through every one.
So
And I
fun.
thought,
Yeah.
going through the barks and shit. Just like, this is so cool.
So and you're from San Diego, grew up in San Diego?
Yeah, I was born in LA and moved to San Diego when I was 5, so
Hold
I
on,
grew
this
up.
is gonna
Yeah.
be funny. I'm sorry.
Oh, you
One
have more
second.
questions?
No, I just
Oh,
have
sorry,
to do
go
it.
for
Sorry.
it.
Hello,
Yo,
Derek.
yeah, do you want to do this call?
I'm sorry, dude. I'm right in the middle of a podcast right now.
No problem. Do your thing. We'll take care of it. We're just gonna work on some scheduling for some streaming stuff.
Right on. Sorry about that, man.
We'll circle back with you.
All right,
good.
later.
Thanks.
Bye.
That's Daddy's new favorite thing is just answering his phone on the cheese called the other day and just blew up. So it was awesome. And then you're from Long Beach right now. Did you grow up there?
Yeah, originally started in Long Beach, and then I moved around. I went to like 13 different schools, and eventually
Holy
after
shit.
that, circled back, graduated in Long Beach. Been there ever since.
Why did you go to so many schools?
I was raised by my mom, who was single and just geographically confused, free spirit.
Okay.
I don't know what you want to call it,
So, traveler.
but a traveler, a gypsy. So
Okay.
Yeah.
we went to a lot of places. Sometimes we'd even double back, and I'd see my friends after not seeing them for 3 or 4 years back at the same school, and like, what up? Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
Wow,
That's kind of
I-
interesting. I hope it
I've
was
been
cool.
traveling for 3 years.
it's cool.
Good to
I
see
have
you
friends
again.
everywhere.
My wife was like a military kid growing, so same type of thing. Now she's like, oh, I've lived in Alaska, I've lived over here, and then she was in the military. I lived in Okinawa, I lived here. Yeah, so dude, it's like that's kind of cool. But so modeling, where does it start? You're living all over the friggin' place. Kind of hard to probably set anything up doing that. At what point do you settle down a little bit and start modeling?
Well, what do you mean? What was your question?
When did you start modeling?
When did I start modeling?
Yeah.
So I started modeling about 10 years ago when I was 20. I always kind of wanted to do it, but I was pretty fugly. So it's like a key.
Why is that a modeling thing?
I have no clue. It's
Girls
like it's
that end
always
up
the
being
ugly
models,
duckling.
It's always like I was nasty as shit.
They
But
blossom
yeah.
later in life.
I had just fucked up teeth. I was super blind, so I wore super thick glasses, and my hair was just like, it was like Hermione, huge. So I was like, had the whole ugly Betty thing going on. And then,
Wow.
so the day I got my braces off, I also went and got contact lenses and a blowout. And it was literally like
Oh, damn.
Princess Diaries.
Wow.
Where I came out and people were like,
What the fuck?
so then I,
Okay, that's actually cool. I
yeah.
see that now. Yeah. Oh shit.
That's
Sorry about
awesome.
That, but yeah, I see that. I
Was
gotta
that
take these-
cheese?
Yeah, I gotta take these gloves off, dude.
I'm
He's
sweating
sweating.
under
I feel
here.
like I can't touch anything for real, and then it's like, so when I'm hitting the drops, it's
Kind of
just
fun,
like,
I
huh?
like them. Yeah.
There's two kind of
I feel
people.
like I'm back right now. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, dude.
Here we go. So, all right. So you get the fucking braces off, you get the contacts in, you get the blowout done,
Done.
and you're rolling. You just roll back to school, and it's just the
Yeah.
sun is shining. Oh well.
I roll back to school, and I
Yeah?
was always super bad at school. So,
And all the dudes were just like, huh?
yeah.
The dudes that wouldn't give you the time of day.
Oh.
Now they're like,
Yes.
hi, I like your braces are off. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And then one time I actually like circled back to a guy who I had a crush on for like 8 years in school, and he totally didn't like me. And he was finally like, hey, what's up? And I was like, yeah, what's up? And I was like willing to give him a chance. And he was like, and then he started remembering all the crazy things that I would do because I was in love with him. And he was like, remember that love note you wrote me when we were in like 6th grade and you said all these things? And I was like, yeah. And I was just so turned off and embarrassed that I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah,
Move
later,
on.
dork.
That's
We're
a
done.
cool thing. That's a real life. We've all seen that movie, you know.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a bunch of them. Is it Never Been Kissed? Is that another one where
Yes.
someone gets done
Yeah,
up? At like,
Freddie Prinze
Totally.
Jr.
dude, and those movies are always fucking fun. Yeah, and so that's cool to actually hear that, you know.
It
I mean,
happened.
like a real thing. I'm like, oh, right on. That would be a good feeling. I had a buddy, Doug, who was in my old band, and he's like, I guess he was always just a big fat kid and big curly hair, and he went and started playing football in high school.
Doug?
Doug Cooper.
Doug was a fat kid?
Doug Cooper was a big fat kid.
I've known Doug like forever. I would never
We've
have
known him
thought
since
that.
high school.
I guess
right?
I met him in high school. Yeah.
So he always played football, and I played baseball with him when he was young. It's like weird. I never thought of him as fat kid, but he was just the catcher. Tubby had big curly hair. I don't know. I don't remember. But yes, he was big. And then in high school, he's a football guy. He thins out. He gets all buff, and then he's just the stud. I remember him telling me. Because he's like, dude, Jake, I'm so stoked. And it was just some night we were drinking beers and talking. He's all, I was just a fat kid when I was young. He's all, no chicks would look at me. He's all, I just can't believe it. He like got taller, played football, got buff, got
Was in a
thin.
band,
he was
like-
wrestling, and then he ended up being in my band. Yeah. And it was just funny for him to tell me that because I never thought of him that way. But it was funny. I never forgot when Doug told me that because I was like, oh, hell yeah, Doug.
Fuck
Fucking
yeah,
go
man.
get it. That's a good, that makes you, how's that make you feel, Dud?
It makes me feel good.
Damn, dude, did I just steal your drop?
You're already trying to go into the shit right now?
I don't know, dude. Fucking roll
Dude,
into it.
Are we-
Because then we have fan questions.
Oh, dude. Fuck. I feel weird.
Do you?
Feel weird that you just fucking stole. Remember when you pumped up to them earlier
I know,
how
I
dope
did.
my transition was going to be, and you just ruined it?
Dude, I don't know what it was. It just felt so right. And then I think I'm used to hearing you say
You're
it.
not the guy. I'm the transition guy. This is why. You tried to do it, and look what happened.
I
It
know.
fucking
And then it
messed
ended up
everything
weird.
up.
Fucking hell.
Speaking of feeling weird, we have some sponsors on this
No,
show.
we can't
No?
do it. What we do is we blow right past it. And we go, so you come back to school and the hair is blown out and you fucking jack the dude. When do you start modeling? Get us into this.
Gosh.
God.
Oh, man.
Dude, what a
That was
mess.
the first. I'm trying to remember. Somebody was like, you should be a model, and I was like, you know
Okay.
what? I fucking should. And so it was like, I don't know. I just wanted to try it, and also my school career didn't go good.
Yeah.
I was like working at a warehouse, like restoring classic Volkswagens, and
Oh, that's cool, though.
and then I just decided to switch it up, and oh my God, the only way I knew how was this website called Model Mayhem. So I would go on there, and I was like, yes, I am a model looking to gain experience. And then I started accepting shoots, and it was horrific. Horrific. I would go to places that were basically like this underground bunker where I'd show up and they'd be like, yeah, just go down this alley and come into this warehouse. And I'm like, yeah, okay. This is what
what we
modeling
do.
is. And it was just a whole bunch of horrible photo shoots. And,
That's
I would-
scary.
You
That's
always hear
scary
the
for a girl.
background of that is
highly
grimy.
do not recommend. 0 out of 10. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Go do it the right way. But
Yeah.
I was actually at Dog's Bar in Long Beach, and I was approached by this chick who was like, "Hey, are you a model?" And I was like, flip my hair. I'm like,
Yes.
yes, I am.
Have you ever heard of Model Mayhem?
Why do you ask?
Yeah. See me on Modern Man.
And she was like, "Oh, I work for a fashion company. Do you want to come in for a casting?" And so I went in, and they started paying me proper money to take proper pictures for a proper website
And
for a
not
proper
in an
brand.
alley.
Yeah, and not in an alley where they didn't pay me.
That's great.
Yeah. So and then it all spiraled from there. Eventually got signed with an agency, and then never looked back.
Dude.
My home base is in Long Beach. I keep my apartment. It's where my cats live.
That's
my
awesome.
plants. But it's travel for work and come back to there when
That's
time to go
awesome.
home.
So look, people, like, she's not telling you to go to dark alleys and take these crazy model shoots, but what that does show you is, man, sometimes you got to do some shit that sucks. And you're gonna have to do some things, or you're maybe not gonna get paid, and you just gotta learn as you go, and you gotta work hard, and then you might eventually one day make it to where you're trying to get, or you might not. But you might be in a bar one day, and someone might walk up to you and say, "Hey, are you a model?" And then you say, "Yes, I am." And next thing you know, you're in a proper place, getting paid proper money in a safe establishment, and I bet that makes you feel good, Jake.
Oh, there it is. I saw it coming, and it's way better.
The world is back to normal.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And speaking of feeling normal, our first sponsor makes me feel very normal, better than normal. Great. Koi CBD, that wasn't good. All right, Koi CBD, you guys know it. I talk about it every single episode. I love this company. I love their products. I take the drops every day. They just hooked me up like some huge bottles of these drops, 1,500 milligram. I'm just like, I'll put a straw in that bottle.
Ooh, slurp it
I
up.
love it. I love the way that it makes me feel. It takes a little stress off my day, and it also helps my joints, all my aches and pains. But what they also just gave me, it's over there.
Where is it? I can grab it.
I think
Is
it's
it
over
sitting
there
right
by
over
the
there?
Bing Bing.
Yeah.
They have an inhaler, a CBD inhaler, and I believe it's 1,000 milligrams. And it doesn't need to go through your liver and all that. So it just goes straight into your bloodstream.
Wham.
Bam! Watch this.
Oh,
I feel so good. I feel so good right now. Koi CBD, we love this product. They've been with us since day one. Go to koicbd.com, put in code DuddyB at checkout, and you are going to get 20% off your order. And I should mention this. I need to mention this as well. Right now, you guys, you need some hand sanitizer. Everybody does. They have hand sanitizer at koi.com right now, and every ounce of sanitizer that they sell, they match it, and they give it to hospitals and first responders all through Southern California.
blammo.
Go do it, people.
That is a beautiful thing.
KoiCBD.com, code DuddyB at checkout, 20% off. Boom. Also, Onnit, another amazing company that we love, and that's Onnit with 2 N's, ONNIT.com. We love this company. We love their products. I talked about it last week, but I'm going to talk about it again because I love it. They have these pills. They're called New Mood Pills, and right now, everyone's so stressed out. I'm sure it's hard for some people to sleep. These are great. They're not sleeping pills, though, so you're not going to, pass out right when you take them. I take them at, 5-ish in the afternoon. Just kind of helps you chill out at the end of the day, and then when you do pass out, you sleep through the whole night. You sleep like a baby. I love this product, and I also love their Alpha Brain. I take it every day. That's why I'm so damn smart.
Damn, look at you.
Onnit.com, ONNIT.com /Duddy. After that, you get 10% off your order.
There it is.
We did it.
We freaking did it. That was actually smooth. That was a beautiful sponsor reading.
Thank you.
One of your best.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Should we just go into some fan questions?
We definitely should. Okay.
Okay, let me pull them up. I do have those.
You do have those.
There was some funny ones.
And the glove
there were some good
wearing,
ones.
That doesn't make you feel weird on the phone.
I might
like
never
it.
take these off.
Are you serious?
I'm gonna get a body glove. This one is for Evan. I'm just gonna read it because this. Oh wait. With COVID giving us time to reflect, besides your smoking hot girlfriend Britt, what makes you feel good at this point in your life? Family is a given, but yeah. Oh, that's it. I guess what's making you feel good right now?
He's just like.
I just saw the smoking hot
deep one.
girlfriend
Yeah, I know.
Brett
Besides
one. That's
me,
why I
there's
started
nothing.
reading it. I didn't get to the end.
Because he's like, obviously you're going to go, well, my smoking hot girl. And then he's like, all right, we know that. What else is making you feel good?
I think just having, you know, like, I mean, you don't really have the friends and family around like you would normally, you know, because you guys are all trying to do your part and keep your distance and stuff. But just being able to like have friends and call people, you know, and like I'm very blessed to have friends and you know, opportunities where you can, you know, where you can do things like this to come show up and you know, just pass the time and relate with people. I think that's something to be, you know, thankful for.
Totally.
Definitely.
No, I agree, man. It's funny right now because besides coming here, I don't leave the house. I'm doing the lockdown thing. My family, my wife and kids, they have not left at all. And I mean, I go to the grocery store, of course, but it's weird now that when I do see other people like that I know, it's like, hey,
Been a long
hi,
time.
bud, I love you. Like you realize how much you really do enjoy people's company.
And they're communicating online more. It's like
Yeah.
weird. People are doing the
Zooms.
online
My
Zoom
wife's
thing,
doing the
you know,
Zooms.
all that.
She did one last night for like freaking 2 hours with her friends.
So in a weird way, yeah, people are bettering themselves, like what we were talking about earlier, and they're kind of connecting in different ways. But I don't know.
I
It
think-
shows that people still want to hang out in whatever freaking fashion they can.
Right. And I think another thing that kind of gets missed too is like we can definitely be, you know, feeling grateful to have all these people around us, but there are people that, you know, are really lonely right now, you know. So you gotta remember to check in with people and make sure, you know, those people that don't have those people that they can check in with, that if you are one of those people for them and maybe you don't realize it, you know, just check in and make sure everybody's doing good.
No,
That's
that's
a
great. I
super
love
good
that.
thought.
I love that. You know, it's funny. I was talking to my wife about that the other day too, and I was just like, I mean, it's even I'm getting like a little stir crazy, and I have like kids and a wife and a dog and cats, and I get to come, you know, here and do the podcast, and I'm still going stir crazy. And I was like, what about like just like a single dude like living in like a studio
Yeah.
apartment who lives like in a state that his family doesn't live in, and you know, what's that guy doing?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, someone just moved somewhere.
Yeah,
has
you
no
know,
friends
like he
there
doesn't really
yet.
have a friend base. He doesn't know his
Yeah.
neighbors really, and his family lives, you know, across the country. Like he's just like, all
That's
right.
a nice thing to say, because people that
Yeah.
are listening to this, they could maybe, like, because I am now, I'm thinking of who do I know that's having that, what you're saying, who might be alone and doesn't have a lot of family around. People that are listening, I hope, are going, oh, you know what? I have a few people's numbers in my phone book that I probably should call and just say, what's up? And hopefully they will. So I'm really glad you thought of that, because that's
Yeah.
not something that we
Yeah.
had really talked about
Well,
yet.
thanks to whoever asked that. 'Cause
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that was
seriously, who was that?
that was Maui Wowie from our Patreon page. You guys, these are all questions coming from listeners from our Patreon page. So if you want to also ask me and Jake and our guests in the future any questions, go sign up for our Patreon page. You will get to have your name shouted out like Maui Wowie just did, and also you're going to help the show go on and continue. So thank you guys. You know what? From Maui Wowie, also at the end, he said, would you have met your girlfriend without your music career?
No. Well, I don't think so. No.
No.
I wouldn't, to answer the question. No.
Nice. Maui Wowie. 2 good questions.
So shit.
Let's see here. Francisco Molina wants to know, like, he says, you have killer vocals, man. What age did you start singing, and what made you want to start a reggae band?
Oh, that's a good question. I started singing in middle school. It was during that whole like kind of like Sum 41 like when all that was on MTV, and
Yep.
and I started singing like that kind of music, and then I got into like screaming actually, which was kind of
Dude, I went
Completely
in
the
the
other
full
direction.
scream direction, too. Me and Jared, we used to sit in my garage, and we would just, with an acoustic guitar play, we'd be like, wah!
yeah, but I was really into that music, and like I started singing that stuff, and that was like the first kind of music that I started singing. And then, you know, obviously like I had that whole side, but then I also had like the R&B like side of like the like MTV whole like, you know, R&B and hip hop stuff. So I kind of sang a little bit of that stuff too, but I'd always like just stay home and sing that stuff in my room, and then
I can't let my friends
With
know.
the door
Yeah,
closed,
no
and the
way,
window closed in
like,
my
yeah.
closet.
Students
That's
usher
crazy.
dance
You're in
moves.
like a fucking screamo band, but you're in the bedroom at home, fucking bringing sexy back. Or
yeah,
whatever.
my mom would always walk by and she's like, when did he learn how to sing? Like she'd always tell me, and I'm like, well, I don't know how to sing. I don't know what I'm doing. But I would just keep practicing, you know. And then I had a friend who actually encouraged me to start the band, because he was the one who was like, you know, you got a voice, dude. You should really do something with it. I never had taken lessons at that time or anything, and he actually ended up passing away in a drunk driving accident, and I wrote a
Oh,
song
that's
for him.
terrible.
And that's kind of how the whole band got started, or at least kind of got me going with like really trying to make something happen, because I wrote the song Man Down for him, and after that people wanted to hear some more stuff, so started trying to figure it out and find band members, and that whole thing. I ran into our drummer at Guitar Center, and that kind of like led us to like meeting friends of friends, and it was just crazy how it all started.
Finding the solid band members is a tough part.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Because a lot of people want to play music, but they don't realize all the work that really goes into it,
Yeah.
So finding some solid dudes that are willing to put in the time, that's tough.
The whole reggae thing, my mom was dating this contractor for a long time who used to go down to Mexico and build homes for less fortunate down there, and would go down there, and I think it was a church that was doing it, and they'd pour like a slab of concrete, and they'd prep everything on the Saturday, and then the Sunday you'd go down there and build the house. And so I remember going down there, and my mom was always listening to like UB40 and Bob Marley with this dude, and I just loved it, and at a young age I never really like was really tuning into the lyrics, but I just loved how it made me feel good, so I just I kind of fell in love with the sound at that time, and then after that is when I kind of got into this whole like rock and era and all that, and then experimented with that. Once Charles passed away, I learned how to like sing and play guitar like simultaneously, so then that was a big thing, because then you can kind of like write songs yourselves, yourself. And I just started hearing a lot of like the newer kind of like California reggae stuff, and it was funny because it was weird timing. I obviously was listening to Sublime and stuff at that time, and Revolution played a show in my friend's backyard for his graduation party back in 2007. It was like their last backyard show that they did before they started touring.
Was that in Santa Barbara?
It was in San Diego.
Oh, San Diego.
A friend of like Marley knew my friend, Marley's bass player for Revolution, knew a friend of mine's mom or something like that, and they all figured it out. But we ended up there in his backyard, and I watched him play, and it was cool. I was like, wow, this is like, this is really different. And like after that, I just started listening to that Courage to Grow album was when they put that out, like the first kind of studio album, and then started getting familiar with all the other bands in the scene. I was like, wow, there's a scene for this, I met Moy from Tomorrow's Bad Seeds, and I went on this crazy, you remember those SWAT trips?
Oh yeah.
I went on one of those and like he was performing there, and like I got close with Moy, and
Moy's been on the show.
Those SWAT trips were crazy.
Like 5 episodes ago or so.
Shit, I gotta dig deeper. Yeah, nice.
How weird were those SWAT shows? They don't do anymore, but it's like, let's get like a bunch of underage kids.
Yeah.
And let's take them down to Mexico and get them all fucked up and hang out with a couple counselors who are just like a few years older than them. Ugh. It's like.
But you know what? I think that really gave a lot of awesome opportunities for kids, and like
totally.
It was like that, like kind of, I don't know. I think it goes
awesome
both ways.
sexual opportunities.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Like I'm sure it was
awesome,
fucking great times. I played a SWAT thing. It was a great time. But now, as an older person, like if my daughter was like, "I'm going on a SWAT trip," I'd be like, "Absolutely
Think about
not."
it. Remember the brochures they give you? It's
Yeah.
just like, go to SWAT this year, and it's just people looking drunk and partying, and you're like, we're in high school. Yeah. Was it in high school when they were? How old did you have to be to go to that?
I think there was different
18,
ones.
maybe.
I think there was different ones.
I just remember.
Can someone
18,
explain
I guess
the
it would-
concept? I've never heard of this.
Oh,
It's called Summer Winter Action Tours.
Okay.
And they would take, I think they still do it.
That already sounds.
Do they
creepy.
still
It's
do it?
some
Yeah,
action
they
tours?
still do.
Summer winter.
But I think it's more college focused now. I think the high school trips are done.
it was high
It
school.
was high
I
school,
remember
yeah.
being like, what the fuck? Yeah.
But I think it was the college counselors. That's when you were doing it. Was like the college counselors were going with like the college kids. So it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, this makes sense. But then it was like the college counselors with the high school kids,
Yeah,
and then
the high
that's
school kids.
but it
Holy
was
shit.
cool, they take these kids from all these different schools, so it'd be like 30 schools. So you'd be going with like people that you knew but from a different school, and then you'd go to like
some of them, yeah.
Utah or something, and then you'd meet like a whole other like school. And all these buses would go, and you like ride up on the buses, and you pretty much party the whole way up.
It's just like a big party.
Dude, what
You
was
get
I
there-
doing during this time?
Yeah.
It was
You were
crazy.
traveling all around. You were,
Yeah. Bands playing and.
Yeah.
That sounds so fun.
So
Yeah.
Utah would be like a winter one, go for
Yeah.
a snowboarding wonderland, and then summertime was
San
like
Felipe
Mexico
or
or
Rosarito, yeah.
You're going
Rosarito
to
or-
Mexico in high school with college counselors to rage.
this sounds like the real world plus like
Yeah.
Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's awesome.
Good times.
But yeah, as
Yeah.
an adult now,
As
you're
an
like,
adult, I
how
look
the
back and I'm
hell
like-
did they get away with that? You could not do that.
Because
now.
I remember when we played one, it was for high school kids. Now that I look back,
Wow.
And like I remember at night, like after the show and shit, it was like we're just partying with all the high school kids because there's no one else around. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Good times, dude.
Good
so you grew up in a good
times.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you came in. So you went to SWAT. You met Moy.
I met Moy. I actually met Kyle from Slightly Stupid. He had him there as a guest, and like I
Nice.
got kind of into into their music too. And then actually, I think this was before Charles passed away. He took me to a Slightly Stupid concert at the Del Mar Fairgrounds because we have that reggae festival that they do every summer. So the summer concert series. So I used to go watch Steel Pulse. Kind of forgot about all that, and I really fell in love with like really reggae music at that age, and that's really what turned me onto it, and then as I was digging deeper, I was just seeing that it was all mostly positive music, and I just loved it. I loved the way that it made it feel. I loved the atmosphere that it brought, and just kind of like putting my own twist on that and being able to create something new, So that's kind of where the band comes from, through the roots, is like through roots reggae music, we kind of create our own stuff. So
that's awesome. That's another great question from Francisco Molina. Let's see if we got any other good ones here. Oh, this one started on our last episode, actually. What's your favorite dinosaur?
oh man,
Do you have
It is a
one?
good question. It made them both laugh. Denim was on our last episode, and his friend, that's what his friend asks every single big musician he meets. What's your favorite dinosaur? That's his question.
oh man, I got two.
You have two? Let's hear it.
I think a Velociraptor. I think they're just highly intelligent,
That
Dude,
was
that was Duddy's.
that was Denim's. No,
Oh,
mine's this
Denim's?
guy.
Yes,
yeah.
and that's the
That's
other
right,
one,
yeah,
the
yeah.
one that
The
can
frill?
spit, because it's just
nice,
it's so
nice.
unique,
So you guys
Dude.
both scored.
Hell
There you
yeah.
go. Do you have a favorite dinosaur or two?
I forgot what it was called, but he looked at me because we just had a conversation about dinosaurs like a few days ago.
Oh, that's
We're
awesome.
sitting there, and because of coronavirus, I haven't had my nails done, and I don't know what day we are on, so I don't know how long it's been since I got my nails done, but they just looked haggard. It looked like I've been trying to claw
My
my way
wife
out
is
of
saying the same
Azkaban. Like, he goes, dude, your nails look like that one dinosaur that just has those like
It's got, like the
pebbly,
helmet on,
like
the one that like
I
rams
know-
and shit.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I have no idea what the name
Pebbly,
is.
it's like pebbly. It
Yeah.
has like
Yeah.
a helmet skull. I don't know, but I look it up, and I'm looking at this picture of this dinosaur and comparing it with a picture of my nails, and it wasn't that far off.
Oh, shit.
So
Where's your
That's
phone?
good.
Find that dinosaur
will.
again.
I
Whoever
will
looked
find
it up,
it.
dude, because I
Yeah.
gotta know. I think I can picture it.
It's a really,
I
it's
feel,
kind of, the name is not one that would just like dings.
No,
you know?
but it's an official dinosaur.
it's an
Is-
official dinosaur,
'Cause, like-
and he had it in his head, like thinking.
Oh, that's so
He's
funny.
like, dude,
I
your
gotta
nails
know
look
the name.
Jurassic.
And he
like,
already knew the
something needs
name
to
of the
be-
dinosaur, or he had to look
No,
it
he
up?
had to look it up.
Oh, okay.
Because I heard this, and I guess we could simply look this up as well. I don't know if the Velociraptor was a dinosaur, right? Is that a Jurassic Park invention?
Like a hybrid dinosaur?
I just don't know that they existed. I thought I heard somebody told me that. They're like, well, velociraptors weren't real. Those were made up by
Look
Jurassic
at
Park. I'm
Daddy's
like, what?
face. It's like you just
ruined my
told him
whole
that
life.
Santa's
wow,
not
this is
real.
blowing
Yeah,
my
I
mind, dude.
know.
You
Yeah.
can't just invent new dinosaurs, dude.
They do in the third
invented
one.
a new
Yeah.
one on that last one, though. Yeah, right. Or
that's
or
Yeah, they
right.
did.
The Lost World, or fucking whatever. I got lost track.
Damn.
Dinosaur with helmet head.
Yeah, helmet-headed dinosaur. I gotta know. I simply must know. Oh, here it
This is
comes.
basically what her nails look like.
Oh yeah. What is that?
The Helmedon.
Of Passiphilosaurus. I don't know how to
Shit.
say
okay,
that.
that's why nobody talks about it.
Yeah, it's a weird ass. That's a man.
Oh shit! I've never even
Try and read that. Try and read that name.
Where is that? Oh yeah, dude, that's a. Yeah, there's. I'm
I
not
don't
even
know.
gonna try.
It's a weird ass name. Look
It
it
looks
up.
like a Russian
Use your
hockey player's
imagination.
last name
Yeah.
with a saurus at the end.
Pachycephalosaurus.
There it is, dude.
Pachycephalosaurus.
Maybe something like that.
Hey, that sounds right to me. All right, well, that was cool. Thanks for those questions from our Patreon members. We appreciate it.
Dang.
Let's move into a segment.
Yes.
You guys, we've pre-screened them. They have shit themselves before.
Yes, we have guests that have shit themselves. Why is it that everyone who comes on our show is more than willing to tell us a poo? I think one of them might be a shit yourself, one might be just a poo story, but poo related is good enough for us. So, Duddy. All aboard! Next stop, Poopersville. Oh shit!
Oh, so who wants to go first?
Oh man.
You go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
I must have been about 12, 10,
Okay.
12. I don't know.
That's post
Something
diaper.
like that.
Works.
It's just got to be post diaper.
post diaper, so you're in there.
I think I was probably about 12. I had a skate park up the street that I would go to, and I was skating one day, and I was like in the neighborhood next to my house, so you could skate there in probably like 5 minutes, you know, so it was pretty close by. It was behind a church, and there was like just like a spine ramp and like a half pipe that was, I don't know, 8 feet or something like that. It was pretty cool, but they chained it off, but I figured out how to like manipulate the chain so you could still skate it.
Nice.
So I was there, and I think that was probably my karma, because like when I was younger, I think I suffered with IBS, and it was terrible.
It's self-diagnosed.
It would just no, I was diagnosed, but like I didn't know at that age, you know. So
He thought everyone was like that at that point.
yeah, I thought everybody was just shitting their pants. You know? I thought it was normal.
This isn't how you guys shit.
So I'd have this like, this stomach cramp that just comes out of nowhere, and just like, it's really bad, and I there was a low chance I was gonna make it back, but there was no porta potty, and I'm like, I either like go in the bushes and I do this, and like I get caught like shitting at the church, or like
just desecrating the grounds of the church.
or I leave now and try to skate home, So like, back in the day, we wore those like, baggier jeans too. There wasn't like, nowadays where like you shit your pants, maybe maybe it just kind of blends
stay
in.
Right about thigh.
No, this one's
Brown
definitely
pants on, you're fucking good.
this one's definitely
Keep
falling
skating.
down your jeans, like
Yeah.
all the way down. So I'm skating. I
toes.
cross the crosswalk, and I'm like almost to this hill, like the end is in sight, and like I'm trying to skate down this hill, and I'm trying to like not go, and so I start walking, and then I start skating. You're just kind of in between.
What
do?
action do I take, dude? What's better?
So I'm just, oh man, and I'm just so embarrassed, and it's like midday on a Saturday, I'm just like, oh my gosh. So
all over the
I
grip
just decide that it's better to not stand there and do it. So I just skate. I just start skating, and it's like it's like not a very steep hill. So I'm just kind of cruising, and I'm just like, I just let it go. Not only does it just, down the pants, but it's coming out of my shoes, onto my grip tape. It was bad, dude. And I had to go home and hose it off in my yard. I was just so ashamed. By the time I got home, I didn't even have to go anymore. Ruined my session.
Dude, I just picture like a sad kid just rolling down the street, just so bummed.
I love that
That was
because
amazing.
Because what
man.
do you do, right? It's like if you're skateboarding, you're not really moving, you're just standing, so that feels like the shit's gonna come out. And if you're
Right.
walking, it feels like you can kind of hold it in, but you're stuck in between
And
which
if you're just
action.
stopping in front of someone's house and shitting, you're like, what are you doing? And then they realize, and then you gotta,
Hey, kid, stop shitting out front of my house.
Oh, that was great.
Damn.
I could picture that perfectly. I love when you're all midday Saturday. I'm like, oh, there's people doing the line.
Yeah,
there's
Like,
yard
families
sales.
out smiling.
And like people in your neighborhood too, so it's like then it goes around the neighborhood. You're the kid.
And also, like, the shitty skateboard tracks and splats lead right to your house. Right to
I
your
didn't really
front
think about
door.
that,
You're right.
You left a poo trail
Just
right
left
to
a
your
little
door.
nugget.
There's a
trail.
detective near. He would have found me for
Little
sure.
Dookie detective
So-
would have just
so did-
sniffed it out.
Were you so you just had to ride that skateboard with shitty grip tape for a while
Yeah, I
afterwards?
just sprayed it off, and then I always kind of looked at it like, I know there's still a piece of shit on there,
Yeah,
but
like, you and I know what it
Yeah.
is, skateboard.
It's a
No one
special
else knows.
skateboard.
You don't
No
say
one
shit.
It was
else
definitely mine,
knows.
Oh,
That was
dude,
fucking
just a
great.
perfect storm.
Can I ride your skateboard? I mean, if you want.
With no shoes, and you're like, I wouldn't fucking throw on some Vans, dude, before you get on there. Oh, that was a fucking legendary tale. Thank you so much.
Well, let's
All
move
right,
on to
dude,
Brett.
you got a poo story too. I know you're like, oh
I
man.
do. Unfortunately, I didn't shit myself, but never, got to savor that experience.
It's not too late.
It's like, unfortunately, I didn't shit myself.
But I did have another first. I was right when I moved into my apartment in Long Beach.
This is a good one.
I didn't have anything in my house, so like it was literally just me, my bed, and I invited my girlfriend over. Like, hey, housewarming, come over to my empty apartment. Let's have a couple beers. So
Yeah.
she came over, and there was really nothing to do in my empty apartment after the couple beers. So we go around the corner to the Silver Fox, is a gay bar in Long
Oh,
Beach.
okay.
We get a little hammered, sing some karaoke, and I remember taking out my phone, take pictures of us, and putting it on the bar and putting it back in my pocket into the bar and back and forth. And then it's closing time, so we leave. We go to the liquor store and get some hot Cheetos. We go home, and she jumps in the shower because she's got work in the morning. And I go to the bathroom, and then I'm sitting there and I'm eating a sandwich, and I'm like, "Where's my phone?" I reach down, it's not in my pocket. And the last place I remember was like taking it out of my pocket at the bar, putting it back in my pocket. I'm like, shit. So I call the Silver Fox, and they're like, we're closed. I'm like, I know, but I think I left my iPhone on the bar top. They're like, no, it's not here. I'm like, shit. Run back to the liquor store to see if I left it there. It's closed. I was like, and they open at 8. So I'm like, okay. So I go to sleep, and it was an iPhone 5. I had just gotten it brand new the day before.
It's like,
Like, it was so new, I hadn't even put a lock code on it. So I was like, dude, anybody could just go and steal my phone. Like, that sucks. And so I go to sleep, and I wake up, and I'm like, okay, 8 o'clock. The liquor store's open, and I run down there, and they're not open yet. So I'm like, what the hell? And also, I remember my cable guy is supposed to come turn on my Wi-Fi and cable that just moved in.
Oh, shit.
So I run back to my apartment. He's there. And, he's explaining to me what he's going to do. And I'm like, yeah, just 1 second, because I feel my stomach starting to, like, not
Turn.
feel great.
Yeah.
It's the day after drinking situation where
Hot Cheetos
things
and
are not
booze
kosher.
and-
Things
like,
are not
small
kosher. We had lots of Jameson. There was
cable
beers.
guy.
Yeah.
There was hot Cheetos. It was a mess. So, like, I'm like, yeah, I'll be right back. Just 1 second. You do your thing. So I go to the bathroom. It's not cute. It's like I said, it's the day after drinking.
Yeah.
Not pretty. And so meanwhile, this dude is knocking on the bathroom door, and he's like, hey, can you come show me where your router is?
Like,
blah,
I'm
blah, blah.
fucking
And I'm
busy.
like, yeah, I'll be on just a second. One second. And I'm like trying to finish up. And, so I'm like, okay. And so I try to flush the toilet, and just a sound you don't want to like hear your toilet make start coming up, and so the water starts rising.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh my god!
no.
I'm like that panic. You know that
Oh,
panic,
no.
even if it's at your own
You're like,
house.
I'm fucked.
Yeah, I'm
fucked.
fucked. And so I was like, oh shit. So I guess I lifted the top off the tank, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, so I just put it back on. And so meanwhile, the dude's like, excuse me, I have other appointments to make. Can you please
You're like,
come
"Just
out here? And he's
go."
banging on the door, and I'm like,
leave
1
it.
second. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I try to flush it again, and the water goes right up to the top.
my
And it's
God.
like, oh my God. So, and the guy is like rushing me, so I just put the toilet down. I'm like, I'm going to deal with this after. So I go out there, help the dude. He leaves. I run back to the liquor store. I'm like, hey, have you found my phone? They're like, no, we didn't find it. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, what do I do? I just got this toilet full of poop, and it's like not going down. And he's like, you need a plunger, baby. I'm like, okay, I don't have a plunger. So I go to Target, get a plunger. And then I get home, and like, I don't know what to do with the plunger. I've never plunged a toilet before. So I look up on YouTube how to plunge toilet, and I watch a few instructionals.
Oh,
and
yeah.
apparently you put it down there, and you like,
And
you do
just-
the plunging
you just
motion.
plunge it. You
and
smash it.
I guess that's what you make it sound so easy. You
Yeah.
just plunge it. And then apparently the water is supposed to clear, and then that means that it's unstopped. So I go in the bathroom, and I'm like rolling up my sleeves, and I put the laptop on the counter so I can watch, so I can do it with the person. And so I sink the plunger in, and like it's already pretty full, and I
Yeah.
have to plunge it.
So
I'm
it's
like,
gonna splash.
So there's some splashing. There's like
There's
it's
some
just and it's
splashing.
like all breaking. It's like poop soup in there. And it's like it's just it's sloshing like not everywhere, but definitely on the shoes. And so I'm like we're in this. We just gotta get through it. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like working, and I'm working up a sweat because it's like nothing's happened. It's not doing what it said
like,
it was
it's
going to
supposed
do in
to
the
go
YouTube
down.
video. So it's like, and I'm like, okay. And then probably after like a good 5 or 6 minutes of plunging and just slopping water everywhere,
Wow.
all of a sudden, glug, 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 glug. Like the water empties clear water runs in.
Great feeling.
And I'm like, I did it. This is what happened in the YouTube video. Like, we win. And so I'm like, okay, the bowl filled back up, and I go to flush it again. By the way, like, the bathroom, horrible. Like, it's in shambles. I'm like, this is gonna be a hell of a cleanup.
Mission after this.
And I go and I flush the toilet to make sure it all works, and it does. I'm like, thank God. Like, and then I see something, like, there's still something at the bottom of that toilet. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I get down, and I literally have my face like in the bowl, and I'm looking, and at the bottom, peeking out of like the toilet tunnel, is my brand new iPhone 5.
Oh my God.
I guess I had dropped it in the toilet. It's been in my back pocket. I dropped it in the toilet when I went to the bathroom the night before. And had just flushed it, didn't even notice. And that's why my toilet wouldn't flush.
God.
Bam. I love that. That was like a little movie scene, and there was a dope twist at the end. I was
Phone
just
in the toilet.
Phone in toilet.
Wow.
Didn't know. And it was back when like iPhones were smaller, so
I
they
was thinking,
could fit
like,
in the
iPhone
toilet.
5, they didn't have the big guys. Those were pretty small little phones. Those could totally slide
And,
right in there.
I mean, I didn't have an OtterBox. I didn't even have
that
any
thing was
case on
gone.
it. It'd been down there for 12 hours, just marinating.
And what if you pulled it out and it worked, Tank? What would you have to then do to make that right? To protect
No, get what she did.
It'd be
Oh, no,
just
I
like
see.
his grip tape. It'd be like, well,
there's
me and you
more?
know what happened.
Well,
but-
I mean, I had insurance on it, so I
no.
sent it. I washed it
sent
with
it?
soap. I washed it with
Yes.
soap, and I sent it back to the insurance company saying I dropped it in the bathtub. But I like to imagine, like, sometimes I think about the person who bought like a refurbished iPhone and got my iPhone
And
somewhere
you
out
think too,
there.
like when they got that, like to refurbish it, they're gonna like unscrew
Open
it,
it.
take it apart.
Yeah.
You think they were just like,
The Apple
whoa,
genius is like,
what the
dude.
fuck happened to this? There's shit inside of it. Like,
I wish there was some way to track that phone and just be like, some documentary. You show up at their door. I just wanted to let you know that phone you had, what happened to that phone before it got to you.
that is great.
Oh,
Thank you guys. That was
Wow.
two amazing poo stories.
happy to share.
Good storytellers, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna go back to a segment we haven't done in a bit. We're gonna go to we have a band camp story
Oh, yeah,
from Evan.
band camp. So, you got a band camp story first, right? So let's do the drop.
Oh, and this one time at band camp,
Bam, Evan, take us away.
So we're on tour with the Green. This was in 2015, and
Love those guys.
Yeah, awesome
dudes.
awesome dudes. And we are in North Carolina. Forget what place in North Carolina we were driving to or from, but we were driving to Wilmington, and we were on the 95, and we had just pulled over to get gas, and I like added a little bit of oil and just making sure everything's cool. We had like a short school bus at the time, like it was like a handicap bus, but it didn't have the like handicap accessories. I think it was just like a small route bus, you know.
I
It had,
think
like,
I remember that.
it was green and black.
I
We've had to
feel like
paint it
I've seen that
because
before. Yeah.
We had to paint it because we got pulled over, and it was like they like can't be school bus yellow. It has to be like a different color because we look like, you know, we were towing a
Yeah.
trailer with this yellow bus. And like so we painted it, and it was green and black. But we were driving on the freeway, and I pulled over, got gas, got oil, got back on the road, and all of a sudden I'm driving the bus, and like the guys are, I think there's only one person awake. I think it was our guitar player Scott, and he's in the back, and I'm driving. All of a sudden I start like smelling these weird smells, and like you pretty much smelled like every smell by that point, you know, like in your
Yeah,
touring
I
career.
haven't
You're
smelled
like,
this one
this is
before.
different. This is like something's burning, you know. So like I pull over, and like smoke starts coming out of the vents. Like I'm pulling over, smoke's like coming out of the vents,
that's
and
never
our
good.
tour manager kind of like wakes up, and he's like, someone smoking in here? You know, he's like half asleep. I'm like, no, dude, like that's not what it smells like when someone's smoking in here. You know? So I pull over. I think something's on fire. So I pull over quickly. And meanwhile, like half of the guys are kind of like slowly waking up. A couple of them are still sleeping. I think our drummer and bass player. And like I leave the bus running. I put it in park. I jump out real quick, and I look under, and it's like spilling out fluid. And I'm like, shit, this isn't good, you know? And I can still smell the burning smell. And then I see that, like I can see that there's like some light coming, you know, like there is a small fire going on. So at that point I like get back in the bus, and I turn it off to like depressurize everything, you know, and then it's just completely quiet. It was almost like, it was weird. It was like a movie where like it was, and you're on the freeway, so it was like there was no cars around. It's just the weirdest, most eerie moment when I'm looking under there. It's completely quiet, and I can hear like the crackling, and then I see a chunk of whatever it was, plastic, fall into this puddle, and it just goes, and I'm like, get the fuck out of the bus, you know? Like it's loud. Like there's a video on our GoFundMe thing that my friend did, but you can see it happen. But it literally, that's what happened. I told everybody get out. We're like on the side of the freeway where there's like this embankment that goes by, and there's like mud. Like the guys just run and jump out like deer. Like they're not even looking where they're going. Like some of them stepping in the mud, and we all make it out. But in like a matter of minutes, you know, the whole bus is engulfed in flames and burning.
Shit.
That's
and
terrifying.
All the shit's in there. My
Death.
phone, my I did get a chance to grab my phone on the center console. It, you know, it was like one of those buses where you like, you know, have the hand crank thing
Like
to
the
open the
actual
door.
bus, yeah.
Yeah. And so my phone was sitting there. My backpack was always next to me because if I needed anything, I wanted to grab it. You know, so I had for some reason brought my hard drive that had like all of the music that I'd ever made on it. Oh. And that burned in the fire.
No.
There's 2 acoustic
God.
guitars in there. Like everybody left their shit and just got out. I think maybe Brady grabbed his backpack and like his shoes. But everybody, you know,
So you're just standing on the side of the freeway
we're just
watching
watching
your
this
shit
burn. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking like, dude, our gear is in the trailer. Like we need to get the trailer off. So like I'm trying to stay calm and just kind of think logically here. So it's burning. The guys are kind of panicking. They don't know what to do. Everybody's kind of frozen. And I'm thinking like, shit, I need to get this trailer off, you know? So I think like, shit, maybe I can put it in neutral and I can roll. No. I was thinking we had an electronic jack. I can just jack the trailer up and it will, and we didn't have I don't think we had a battery in there at that specific trip. Normally we do, so the trailer can raise and lower itself, but it was hooked up to the bus and needed the bus's power. Something like, I can just raise it up real quick before that, like, you know, it really burns and get it off. And then I can, you know, maybe we can all push the burning bus out of the way. I don't know. I was thinking, but
Dude, you're panic mode.
Yeah,
You're
so I'm just making stuff out and trying to-
and push the button.
right. So I start like getting towards the button. I push it and like, I can just see this like green flare. I'm like, well, there goes the battery. You know, the battery just like exploded. And I then was thinking, okay, well, we can just, I don't know, lift it off or something. It's way too heavy. We're not going to get it
You
off.
have to take all the
at that
gear
point,
out
I'm like,
first.
then I go back into panic mode with the rest of the guys on the side of the road. You know, I'm thinking, what do I do? So open the side door, and meanwhile, somebody called the fire department. So I think they were on their way, and they weren't there yet though. So then they ended up getting there quickly. I ran in the middle of the street to like wave this guy down and get a fire extinguisher, and he'd like, we're in North Carolina. This guy didn't say anything to me. He's probably like, who's this kid in the middle of the freeway?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, his bus is burning down. And I was like, I need your fire extinguisher now. Didn't say one word to me. Just like gets out in the middle of the on-ramp, parks his truck, gets his fire extinguisher, hands it to me, gets back in and leaves. Not even like, you need help? Like just leaves, gives me an extinguisher. I go over. I don't have enough, you know, fluid to like put this thing out. So I end up just like throwing it down, and the fire department gets there. They're like, start hosing the bus down. One of the guys go, and they're taking their time putting their gear on too. I'm like, dude, like just our life
watching
here.
it,
Come
yeah,
on,
like,
you know?
help us.
And so one of the guys ends up opening the trailer door, and he's about to go in there and just like let loose on everything in the trailer. And I'm thinking like, no, like not the water. So like I book it back across. So like there's
this
this
is
little
just a
embankment
nightmare
and then
that
an
keeps going.
on-ramp, right? And then the side of the freeway, right? So there's like, I have to run across the on-ramp to get to where we are. Because we're in a safe space. I didn't know if the thing was going to blow up or what, so we needed to keep our distance. So I don't know if it was like the movies or not. You know, so I run back over there. The guy's like, you know, about to like, it's his first, you know, they don't probably haven't seen a fire in that area. So like, it's
He's
really
like,
like,
sweet,
you
I
know,
can't wait to fucking use the hose.
right.
You know?
So he like gets in there and he's about to spray it. I'm like running over, no, you know, like, and I tell him, I'm like, there's equipment in here. And while they were taking their time to get their gear on, this is before they started putting the fire out. I remember there's propane in the trailer.
Oh,
That's why
shit.
I told them there's propane in there. So the guys like start hustling at that
Oh,
point.
he's like, spray it down.
Yeah.
Just light
So
it
then
up.
he went in there, and then I stopped him. They ended up not spraying the gear. So then the fire department can't really do anything about it. We have to wait for the tow truck company after it's done burning, you know. So then it's just like this smoldering wet pile of metal and whatever else we had in all of our stuff, you know. And luckily the trailer's okay. Just like burned the nose cap, but we're all just sitting there. The fire department leaves, and it's just like us, our smoldering bus. It's still kind of quiet, you know. It's like the middle of a sunny day, and we're just like, the fuck just happened? You
That's
know?
fucking weird.
It was really weird.
That's a having a day.
That's
moment
having
right
a
there.
day.
We have the segment having a day. We've only done a couple times because it's kind of reserved for just someone who's just a shitty day. One shitty thing leads to another, leads to
man.
another, and
Yeah.
that's you. Everyone's off the bus, none of their stuff, side of the road, middle of the country, watching it burn.
Yeah.
Firemen taking their time, hosing down your gear almost, just one after
Oh,
another.
it's terrible. My dad calls me, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, I gotta go. I'm watching our bus burn down on the side of the road. He's, "You're doing what?" You know, my dad. It's so funny. I'm like, "I gotta call you back. Our bus is burning down."
Damn.
I can't believe you even answered.
I mean,
Hi, Dad, what?
Well, there was like a time when I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
I couldn't
standing
help.
there.
I'm just watching it, and I was just like
might as
hello.
well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When shitty shit is happening too, sometimes you just want to tell people.
Yeah, you're like,
"Hey,
dude, you have no idea, bro.
I don't
That
wanna
was a
talk,
great
but
one.
bus
That was
is burning."
incredible.
That was a
story.
great fucking band camp story.
We didn't miss a
Fucking
show on
hell.
that tour. We got a U-Haul or we got a Penske truck and like a small SUV, and we finished all the shows. And
Boom.
Making it
our
happen.
fans donated, got us a new bus. It was
Gotta
really
hustle,
cool.
people. Gotta hustle. Make it happen.
There's been so many bands just in this in the reggae and reggae rock style scene that have had shit stolen, buses burned down, and the fans always seem to come right up in
They
and
always help
donate,
out.
and everyone ends up getting their stuff back. Like this.
Other bands are helping out
Oh
other
my
bands.
God,
It's
it
great.
happened to my band back in the day.
Yep.
Our trailer got stolen in front of our parents' house, in front of Duddy and my parents' house. Trailer gone for my band, and we were about to go on tour. And fans came through, donated, and were so awesome, and we got enough back to go out. So the community that you guys are in with your band and with Duddy's band, and some of the best people and fans
it's a great
on
community, man.
earth. It is
Yeah.
a community. Truly.
And it's a growing
weird.
community too, which is
It's awesome.
great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. So did you have a band campy story? Anything?
Probably
Any crazy
6,000
model
of them,
stories? Or
maybe?
just probably like every single shoot is one.
Oh yeah, I've had plenty of shit shows. You know what? The one that's like coming to mind, which was just a crazy shoot. So usually like your agent vets. That's their job, is to like set up a shoot for you, vet it, negotiate your wages, whatever. So I show up to a shoot just like any other day. It's in downtown LA, and I walk in, and they had set up in one of the ballrooms in a hotel.
Okay.
So I walk in and to this ballroom I'm supposed to be in. There's like a bunch of construction workers, and I was like, oh, okay, wrong room. And they go, oh no, Britt. Oh, come right in. We're gonna get you right into hair and makeup because we're on a time budget here. And I was like, okay.
What's
so,
up with all the construction workers?
yeah, what's up with all the construction workers? All right. And so I sit down, and the makeup artist takes me, and she's holding me on the shoulders, and she's like, I don't know what we've got ourselves into, but I feel like it's just like a do the job, take the money, and run situation. You understand? And I'm like, what? And she's like, just watch, you'll see. And I'm like, okay. So she barely does any makeup on me. Hair, she doesn't even do my hair. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So they go, you know what? That's enough. You look great. Let's get you right into wardrobe. And they take me over, and they put me in these like carpenter pants. And then they give me some like boots. And then they put me in like a long sleeve and a neon yellow like high visibility vest. And they give me a hard hat. Now, I showed up thinking, because they told me the job is an Italian workwear company. And I'm like, workwear? And my agent said, yeah, it's usually like scrubs, uniform, technician, things like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, got it. And so they go, and also the whole production, all Italians, barely speak English. Now, I've been learning, luckily, Italian on Duolingo for three years now.
Nice.
Duolingo assesses that I'm maybe like a 35%, like... So I'm getting there, and I'm trying to understand what they're saying, and the photographer, he just rapid fire, no English, and so
Yeah.
we're going out, and they're like, okay, let's go shoot. And so we go out, and they go up to like one of those chain link fences that has like the green like net over it,
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
see inside, and he opens the thing, pushes the gate, and starts walking onto the site. And I'm thinking like, wow, this is the craziest shoot I've ever been on. Like, I've never shot any like a construction site. And he looks both ways, and he points to like the caterpillar, and he goes, right there, up there, I'll get the space of the light. And I'm like, oh,
You want me to get in?
I'm like, what? Yeah. And so I just said like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because like I started to get the feeling that we're not actually supposed to be
You
here.
just
And this
snuck
is
in
not our
there.
construction. This is not a set. This is an actual construction site.
Oh
so he
my
says,
God.
okay, they're trying to translate to me, just stand there. So I'm trying to stand there and I start like modeling, but I'm like, but wait, I'm in construction gear. So am I just a construction worker? Like, do I just stand here? And they climb up. Oh yeah. And then so I'm trying like, okay, and I don't know what to do. He goes, so yeah, super, wow, so good. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, and we just hear like, hey, get off of that. And everyone just goes, oh, go, run. And so we run off the construction site. I am like, what the fuck is this?
Wow.
What the and so immediately I'm calling my agent. I'm like, I'm dressed like Eileen Warnos right now. Like I'm modeling construction wear in a construction site that we're not supposed to be on. And she's like, I'm getting my cancer removed today. And she's all looped out because she's like has a procedure done that day. So she can't save me. I'm like, oh my God. And so I was like, well, she would want me to go through with it. I had no choice. And so we ended up hopping, downtown LA, rife with construction sites. So we hop from construction site to
Just got
construction
done what
site.
you could in each one until you got kicked out?
Yeah,
Wow,
basically.
that's crazy.
And I was just like furious.
That
'cause I was
sounds
like,
terrible.
fuck. And at one point, like the wife comes and she puts like these like feather dangly earrings on me to like spruce up the outfit.
Because that goes together.
Because that
Yeah,
Because
if
that
I'm
makes
really doing
sense.
construction, I'm going to make sure I
Oh
have
my God.
my
And so
earrings.
once in a while, we'll get on and try to find those images of the like when I model the construction sites.
That is
Yeah.
You know,
good.
did you ever even get to see what it was or where it went?
I don't think so. We found the website. We didn't find mine though, because I was like, there's one I really want to find, a shot where it's like me posing with like one of those waste removal trucks. It's like with the big hoses.
Spanky's truck?
I don't know what that is, but
That is
it's
good.
terrible.
That makes sense. They're like, we know there's construction going on here. Send her over
Yeah.
here. We're just going to take pictures and
Yeah.
fucking run.
Yeah.
I've heard of movies being made that
Oh,
way in
totally.
LA where they just show up, start shooting. They're not supposed to be there. And
And
they
then,
Yeah, you're supposed to have a permit for everything.
yeah, you got to have a permit everywhere.
fucking modeling.
Well, that was
there's
great.
You
just
never know
horror
what you're showing up
stories
for.
everywhere.
It's the
Yeah.
same for you guys.
It's true.
You don't
We've showed
know.
up to some wild shows before, too. You're like, okay, this should be
yeah.
interesting tonight.
This isn't what they told us we were doing today.
yeah. Oh,
Take
yeah.
the money and run shows.
Yeah.
They
Take
the
happen.
money and run.
Yep. You did get paid, right?
I did get paid.
Okay.
There
Hell
you
yeah.
go.
The important thing.
Well, shoot, man. Anything else? I mean, is there anything you guys want to like plug, or where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find us at Through the Roots, everywhere. Check us out on Facebook. Spotify is a big place everybody goes to listen to our music. So if you don't have a Spotify, they have a free one. Go in there and listen. Pandora, wherever. But check us out on Instagram. We're gonna be doing some more live streams and stuff like that too. Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah,
We
man,
had a
no
great
problem.
time, and
Thank you.
Yeah, check us out. We have some new music coming out soon. I don't really have a definite date on when that's coming out, but just stay tuned. It's a crazy time, and we're kind of trying to figure it all out. So, yeah, just stay tuned. Keep listening.
Right on, man. What about you? Where can people find you at?
People can find me on Instagram. I'm at Britt Rafuson, BritRafuson.
There you go. Well,
Thanks
thank you
for having
guys.
us.
That's another awesome episode. Once again, if you are listening to this or any of the other episodes and you're enjoying it, please leave us a review, leave us a comment. It helps the podcast get noticed and continue on. Also, we do have a Patreon page, like I mentioned before. It's got behind the scenes from every episode, including this one, and lots of other fun stuff going on over there. We do watch parties. We do full episodes just for our Patreon members. And as you see, we let our Patreon members, send in questions for me and Jake and our guests on every episode. So head on over there. That also helps the podcast continue on. Other than that, thank you guys so much for coming. Cutlassbrand.com. Go to cutlassbrand.com. We just dropped a new men's and women line. And if you put in code DuddyB at checkout, you get 15% off that. Thank you for all the love from Surf Roots. And I think that's it.
That's it.
Right on. Thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Peace.